Hello and welcome back to Sustainable Teacher. If it is your first time here, my name is Leticia and I'm glad to meet you. And if you've been here before, I'm happy to see you again. In today's video, we keep going with this unit about the reproduction function in humans, talking about the reproductive system and gametes that we can find in humans. So if you are interested, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Today's class is gonna be focused on the anatomy of the both reproductive systems, male and female, and the gametes, also the anatomy of gametes, male and female. The next video, which is gonna be the last one of this unit and also the last one of the biology part of this course this year, will be more related with the functioning of the reproductive system, okay, the physiology. So let's start talking about the anatomy of the male reproductive system. So the male reproductive system has like four main parts, okay? The testicle and the penis, which are the external parts, so the parts that we can physically see in a person, and the genital tract and the glands are the internal part, because not everything is outside, okay? So the testicle are what we call the male gonads. Is the place where gametes are produced. In this case, spermatozoids are produced, okay? So this is the gonad, the place where gametes are produced. Which parts are found in the testicle? The skin that surrounds testicle, which is called the scrotum, and all the testicles are full inside of a kind of pipes, kind of tubes called seminiferous tubes, in which spermatozoids are made, okay, and they are gonna be maintained in there until the moment of ejaculation. And also in the testicle we will find the testicle itself is a gland, okay, and the hormone the testicle will secrete is the testosterone, which is gonna be related, as you already know from the previous unit, with all the development of all the sexual reproductive functions in males, okay? The penis is just the penis, okay? It is inside we can find the urethra, which will communicate the seminiferous tubes with the bladder, so both urine and spermatozoids will go outside by the same exit, let's say, and this is what we call the genital tract, okay? So the genital tract is from outside to the inside, first the urethra, then the vas deferens, which is a conduct that will communicate the urethra with the testicles, specifically with the epididymis, which is the higher part, the superior part in the testicles, from where spermatozoids will go outside, okay? And we have some other glands, okay? Which glands are these? The seminal vesicles, okay? They are next to the prostata, both on like under the bladder, on top of the testicles, okay? Both seminal vesicle and prostata are related with all the care of the spermatozoids, feeding them, maintaining the area clean, etc, etc. So once they are produced, they can be alive until they are ejaculated. And the last gland is very interesting, also related with cleaning. It's the Cowper's gland, but it's not related with cleaning or giving food to the spermatozoids. It's gonna clean the urethra just before the ejaculation. And this is really important because there is a practice sometime in sexual relationships which is called coitus interruptus or interrupted coitus, depending if you use the Latin or English version of this practice, which consists of when the man feels that is just about to ejaculate, he will ejaculate outside, thinking that if you don't ejaculate inside the female, the female won't get pregnant, okay? But this is not really true, and we can thanks to this to the Cowper gland, okay? And why? Because a few seconds or minutes before ejaculating, the Cowper glands will secrete a substance, that will go through, it's like a fluid, okay, that will go through all the urethra, cleaning the urethra from the rest of urine, okay? So, because if spermatozoids enters in contact with urine, they can die, because the pH is not the same, and it could alter the quality. So the Cowper's gland will clean the tube, the conduct, the urethra before the ejaculation. The problem is that sometimes there could be some spermatozoids in the urethra that has survived from a previous ejaculation and from urine, and during this excretion of fluid of the Cowper's gland, they can get in the vagina, in the woman's vagina, and they can fertilize an ovule inside, okay, even if the man ejaculates outside. So using this coitus interruptus practice is not at all an anticonceptive or contraceptive method, okay? Then we have the female reproductive system. We can say that except for the vulva, everything is inside the female body, okay? If we go from the outside to the inside, the first part is gonna be the vagina, next the cervix, and then the uterus, okay? Which we will call this the genital tract, and the genital tract will finish in the fallopian tubes. Then we have two fallopian tubes that will end in the gonad, in the place where ovaries will be produced, gametes will be produced, which are the ovaries. And we have two ovaries as well as two fallopian tubes, left and right, okay? In the case of the female reproductive system, we only have one gland, which are the ovaries, that will produce all the hormones related with the female reproductive system, like progesterone or estrogens, okay? And now about the gametes, we have male and female gametes. The male gamete is called spermatozoid or sperm cell, and the sperm cell has three main parts: the head, the neck, and the tail. The tail is a big flagella with lots of proteins inside to move them, and to move them, those proteins need energy. So the neck is full of mitochondria that will produce all the energy that this tail or flagella needs to move. And then in the head we have two interesting parts. Of course, the nucleus of the cell, which is quite next to the neck, okay? And in the top of the head we have a vesicle that will have a really important role in the moment of fertilization, okay? Remember that they are produced in the seminiferous tubes in the testicles, and they will start being produced in puberty, okay? And the production is called spermatogenesis. On the other hand, we have the ovules, okay? Also called human eggs. There is a misspelling error in the slide. It's human, not human, okay? Human eggs. Ovums or ovules. Both the three names are correct, okay? The structure of the ovule is really interesting. We have the nucleus, which sometimes is called germination vesicle as well, surrounded by the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm will also receive the name of vitellum, because it's like nutritive substance that the embryo will use in the first steps of division, okay, during the embryonic development. And around this complex we have the plasma membrane, because this is a cell, and next to this we will have the first polar body, because when the ovules are dividing, usually from one cell you get two, but in the case of ovules you will get one cell, and the second cell will not kind of survive or be used, and it will be transformed in something called polar bodies. Okay, so this is what we can find here, but it is not used at all. Okay, it's just a remain from the previous division. And around this complex we have two other layers. We are called the zona pellucida, pellucid zone. They use the name in Latin. And around still the corona radiata, also in Latin. Okay, which are two layers that will be involved in the connection between the sperm and the ovule. Okay, so it's kind of like a jelly layer where sperm will land, and the idea is to make a barrier to control the process of fertilization. The ovules are formed in a process called ovogenesis. First, it was spermatogenesis for male. In this case, for female is ovogenesis. All the ovules that women are born with, or female individuals are born with, are produced during the embryonic development. This is really interesting. They are not produced in puberty. What they suffer during puberty is the ovulation, which is the maturation of, theoretically, one ovule per cycle, more or less one ovule per month. But sometimes cycles are irregular. We will see this in the next video. And some women have shorter cycles, some women have longer cycles, and sometimes we have two ovaries. So sometimes we can maturate, we can ovulate two ovules at the same time, and this is important also, okay? Because, or it could happen, you can be menstruating and ovulating at the same time if your cycles are not really regular. And this is important also for not getting pregnant if you don't take care. And this is the end of the video for today. I hope you understand everything. I think this video is quite known, so if I just clarify some doubts to you, I'm glad I could do that. If you still have any doubt, please leave it in the comments, and of course, see you soon.